Hi, my name is Susan Weimer, and welcome to my YouTube channel here in a very cold Florida location. Actually, it really was. I'm here for My Sweet Petunia. Today is Team Tuesdays, when we bring you a tutorial on how we're using our MISTI to make our cards. This is the card we're going to make. On my end, this is looking a bit blurry, but hopefully when you watch this, you won't see it that way. But as I do the voiceover, but you can see how sparkly it is. So for our supplies today, I have a 6x6 leaves background stamp from Simon Says Stamp, and this is a solid image. A piece of Neenah Desert Storm craft cardstock. My MISTI with 2 magnets. 2 is important for me anyway in this one. Versamark, which is a sticky ink. Some Perfect Pearls in blue patina, which is a coppery blue aged green. Oh, it's gorgeous. Teal. And the first thing we're going to do is ink the surface of the paper all over where approximately the stamp would go with Versamark. And this is the same part of the technique that Jennifer McGuire did when she had the video where she showed using Versamark to lift off pigment Perfect Pearls to apply another color. Anyway, so I've also seen Jessica Frost Ballas, who's a friend of mine, also use this technique. So I have no idea where it came up from. But Jessica used it with foil, and now I'm going to use it with foil. She did it with these cute little, I think they were berries, and she did them in red. It was adorable. So I'm pouncing on the Perfect Pearls, trying to cover up as much of the stickiness of the Versamark as possible. And what I learned from this is the 3rd or 4th time that I did this, is that maybe it's just the way the surface on the Neenah Desert Storm cardstock is, but if I brush across it, I was leaving brush marks in it, and I'm not sure why. So what I came up with was pouncing, and I wanted to do this on craft cardstock because I thought with this pigment powder it would look really nice. So I'm just brushing it off, and with a clean t-shirt that I cut up, that was my husband's. I hope he's not listening to this voiceover. He won't miss it, it's okay. And I'm just pouncing on some more color. And again, that's what worked best for me with this technique. Brushing it gently with the t-shirt did not leave any stray marks behind. As you can see, it's an uneven coverage, and that's okay because I like the more distressed look of this particular technique. And that's why we're going to use transfer gel. That was one of the pieces of equipment I don't think I showed at the beginning. Instead of using heat embossing. So to apply foil onto a card, there are lots of different ways to do it, but the 2 ways are using embossing powder, a heat embossed surface, or using transfer gel. So I've put the stamp into the MISTI. I have taken the foam out because that's a clean foam stamp, and I'm just wiping off that little bit of pigment that I picked up. I've put 2 magnets in there because I am going to leave this piece of paper in there through the entire process until after I've put on the transfer gel. This is what worked best for me. You may be able to remove this and line it up a bit better, especially if you're using a clear background stamp. I know some companies make clear ones. This is the one I wanted to use because I love it. And so this is how you do it with that kind. So you'll see that some of the Versamark removes some of the Perfect Pearls. Don't worry, the stamp's fine. And right now we are just going to set the pigment in place. Perfect Pearls has a water-activated resin in it, which allows it to become fixed into the paper. Now, Neenah Desert Storm seems to have a smoother surface than most cardstocks do, or most craft cardstocks. So when I used fixative, this whole thing just lifted right off. So that's why I'm using water. I am using my heat gun right here in my MISTI. My MISTI's fine. It's been fine. I've done this before, but I just want to say do it at your own risk. So I'm going to set that aside to dry overnight completely because it's still wet underneath. So this is probably about a day later, and I have some transfer gel from Deco, and it's about the same texture as embossing paste. I'm not sure what the difference is between transfer gel and embossing paste, but I did not have time, although I thought of it, of testing the two different pastes out. So I have a clean applicator, foam applicator on my blending tool, and I'm just going to pounce this all over the stamp. And as I go along, it is going to level out. Now, the thing about this method versus heat embossing is that this gives a little bit more of a distressed look than if I had heat embossed this stamp with white heat embossing powder before I ran it through the laminator. So I think this look is better for this. But you can try whatever you'd like. So once I'm done stamping that, I'm going to stamp it right on here, give it some good pressure. And it's kind of sort of not all going to transfer onto there. Because now remember, I've loaded up this surface of this paper. And it's also the way that I've seen this gel work in other videos. So now I'm going to take it out of the MISTI. So I'm done with this part of the MISTI process. And I'm going to leave this aside to dry. It took 24 hours here in Florida. To clean off the stamp and the rest of my tools, I put them in warm soapy water because the transfer gel can really stick to your stamps and make it very difficult to clean off. So here I have my laminator. It's been warmed up for 25 minutes on the 5 setting, I think it is. And you can see that the areas of this are dry. Of the transfer gel, are dry. So I have a sheet behind that, and then I have a piece of Deco Arts gold foil cut to approximately the same size. And then this is just my carrier sheet's just a sheet of parchment. And then we're just going to put this through. And I think foiling is almost as exciting as heat embossing or removing masks after ink blending. It's the little things we get excited about. So, but as I said, you might want to experiment with the drying times for the water and then the transfer gel, because if you live in a drier climate, it may be different for you. But as I said, it was very, very humid here and a whole lot warmer than it is right now. I think it's only 61 today, and I bet when I did this card, it was in the 90s. So now you can see that the transfer gel has picked up the foil, and then as I move it away, you're going to see that it's not completely transferred. It leaves this beautiful textured, distressed look. And then using transfer paper, I can make a whole other card out of what's left, and I'll do that in another video. So I had tried a different sentiment. I was going to put this sentiment in craft on top of my sparkly card, but it didn't work. And I'm using W+9's Be Merry stamp set. I think it was from last year's holiday release. And this is a very old piece of blue cardstock from Basel. That's got to be at least 10 years old. Yeah, I'm embarrassed. So I don't know the name of it. And it was just as close to that background and popped it a little bit that it's what I used. So I didn't have any of the newer cardstocks in a color that I liked. So we're just going to stamp this with some Versamark ink and re-ink that. I just want to make sure that I've got it done good because I don't want to do this again. Isn't that true with like a lot of crafting stuff? So that's my mini MISTI, which did have the foam in it. I do have a couple of MISTIs, so while the foiling piece was drying after I set the perfect pearls, I was able to put that to the side and do some more work. I can't work without a MISTI because of my tremor, and so I find it handy to have more than one. But if you need to take it out, take it out. I just think it's easier. So we're just going to give this a quick heat embossing. I've let my heat gun warm up. This is just some basic gold, I think it's Wow or it's Simon, says stamp, gold embossing powder. And this very, very pretty greeting comes with a matching die cut. And I love these very uniquely shaped dies and sentiments that W+9 has. And that's why I use it. So you can see my beautiful foiled piece up there. I'm just going to pop this sentiment up with some cardstock, foam tape, excuse me. Now, the first card I made from this was a sympathy card. This second card is a Christmas card. And then I have 2 pieces of the foil with the leaves taken out of it that I can use on some transfer paper and make 2 more cards. And I think this technique lends itself nicely to any sort of card. So there you can see all this shimmery loveliness. And thanks for being with me today. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I will link the descriptions in the description box, link the supplies in the description box below. Thank you for being here today. And if you like this video, please subscribe so I can bring you some more videos. And have an absolutely wonderful, warm, sunny day wherever you are. Thanks.